Hi there, folks. Welcome to this quick video that is meant to help you learn how to navigate our course Ways of Looking at the Novel. So I'm currently in student mode, so that what you see on this screen should generally be what you will see in our class, just depending on when you look at things. I'm a few weeks in the past at this point before the term started, so there's a couple things that aren't here that will be when you are in the course. For example, this video is not posted, obviously, and you can see where it says recent announcements here. There aren't any because I have not posted any yet. I will post a weekly announcement, usually on Tuesday mornings. And by the time you are looking at this, the first one should be up here. And it just kind of goes over what we're doing that week if you like just having a written document for that. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this pretty quick. All of the things that you're going to need to use in our course can be located over here. Most of the time, you're probably going to be going through this modules button. So I'm just going to click on this really quickly. If you have taken other courses in our MFA program, most of this course structure is going to be very familiar to you. I will just say the modules page starts with a page that you can kind of look through at your leisure. Go to specific pages when you find them helpful about our course policies and course requirements. I also have a module on just general MFA information. If you find that useful or need it, it is there for you. And then I also have a module about our course workshops. We will have two of those in this class. And I'm not going to go into those in this video, but I will refer to those in weekly overviews when it is time for you to take a look at those. You are certainly welcome to read through any of this at any time, but you don't really need it right at the very outset. And then we have our 8 weekly modules that, again, if you've taken courses in our program, are probably pretty straightforward. But what I'm going to do is just take a look at a couple things. First, each week module has an overview page. It's not here yet, but there will be a short video for that week. Again, usually posted a few days before the week actually begins. I try to do those the Friday before. That's not a promise, but the promise is that they will be there by the first day of the week. You'll notice in one of the course requirements pages, I do our weekly structure a little differently. I have, except for the first week, which begins on the first week of classes, the weeks in this class will begin on Tuesdays and end on Mondays. And my logic there is to give a little bit of a different cadence so that you don't have all of your classes with assignments due all on the same days of the week. This gives a little more flexibility with weekends and things like that. But anyway, so there will usually be a video here. Just haven't recorded this week one video yet. And then you can get a quick overview of what we're doing in this particular week, our course objectives, if you find seeing those useful, and then a list of what we'll be doing in the order that we'll be doing them. All deadlines, unless listed, and there's not really any, are 11:59 p.m. Central Time that day. So if you're in a different time zone, please just account for that as best you can. And they'll always have the day that things are due. Okay. And again, I try to put them all in order. And then within the module, things are generally organized in sequence, and you'll be able to see the dates that things are due. And again, you can just kind of click on things. One thing I will make a note of for you is you may notice here that this first week's reading and discussion doesn't have anything kind of branching off of it, whereas these two do. The reason for that is Canvas allows for 2 different due dates for discussion boards, which typically is going to be when you post. Even though it says reply to topic, that means post, and then replying to classmates. For our discussion boards, as you'll see, and I'll go into in the week one the week one overview video, I actually usually have 3 deadlines for 3 different things. And I can't put in 3 deadlines. So that's why there's only one listed there. So just be aware of that. But again, generally speaking, everything moves in pretty typical sequence. We'll get into some details of an individual week's things in that week. So you probably know, you click grades, you can find your grades. You can click the syllabus here. If you're not familiar, this Perusall 1.3 is a tool we're going to be using when we get to workshopping. Again, you can take a look at that if you would like at the outset, but it'll become clear as we get into the course what you're going to do there. But the last thing I'm going to show you is just something in our discussions. A couple of things. If you go to this thread, one, I have a questions for the instructor discussion board that you can always post questions in. I especially encourage folks, if it is a question about navigating the class or is anything that is not specific to your assignments or your grades, to post it there. And I would also, if you discover you have a question, check to see if somebody else has asked it there, because I will check this every day. and respond either that day or depending on what time you post that afternoon or the next morning. Um, I'm going to explain this board, the lounge, in the first week overview. But then what I also wanted to mention is this discussion board here, what we want to know of novels. So what this is in your first video journal, which again, I'll go over that in the week one discussion board or week one overview video. Goodness. I ask everyone to share a question that they have. And what I will do is I will take those questions and I will post them in this discussion board. Here you can see the questions that people in the last time I taught this class asked. And what I will do is throughout the term, I will post short little blog-ish posts about answers to those questions, even if I think the content and course material will also talk through those questions. This is because I want to make sure if I'm asking you to ask me a question, I want to make sure that it is in some way at least getting addressed. What you can see also, and you don't need to look at these before you ask your question. It's totally fine if the question that you ask is like one of these questions. I have taken all of the answers I provided the last time I taught this class and made a post about them. I copied all of these posts. These were the posts I made in my last class, copied them into one big post. If you want to read that, great. This is a discussion board that you will never have any assignment tied to. It is just to offer up thoughts and material for you. But always feel free to chime in. If you see a question or a subject that you think, oh, here's something that's worked really well for me, or here's something someone else that I've read or worked with has said about this, you are always welcome to add to this. But you're also welcome to ignore it completely. I just want to make sure people know what it is and that it's there. Okay, those are really the basics of our course that I think you need to know about. As always, and this will be the case throughout the class, if you ever find yourself with questions, please do not hesitate to ask, and I will be happy to answer to the best of my abilities. Really looking forward to working with everybody.